Welcome to the very first episode ever of That's Good Football. I'm your host, Brandon Perna, and as many of you know, I typically talk exclusively about the Denver Broncos on my hit show, That's Good Broncos. Well, That's Good Football is being birthed right in front of your eyes. But unlike a normal birth, you're going to want to watch this. Here on That's Good Football, I'm going to talk about anything NFL related. There are some brave subscribers on this channel who root for lesser teams than the Broncos, and I wanted to give them the joy of me possibly not shitting all over their favorite team. And yes, that even applies to the people who like, fuck you, Tom Brady. Let's start with some shitty news for New York Giants fans. Apparently, Giants doctors have told running back David Wilson his career is over. The doctors stated that Wilson could no longer play due to diffuse cervical stenosis, which is a congenital narrowing of the spine. I felt really bad for David Wilson until I remembered my own health problem that I've battled with my entire life, meatus stenosis, or as doctors call it, a severe narrowing of my penis. The strange thing in my case is that it actually narrows towards the base. That's why girls call me the Space Needle. Wilson handled this situation extremely well, showing appreciation for the time spent fulfilling his lifelong dream to play in the NFL. But there's more to this story than many first thought. I spoke with David earlier this morning, and this is what he said.
The injury was part of the reason I was forced to leave football, but to be honest, Brandon, I couldn't stand to see Eli make this face on the sideline.
Ever again.
I'd like to personally thank David for taking the time to talk with me on the phone this morning and letting me secretly record it. I'm not sure if you heard this, but the Chicago Bears have suspended star tight end Martellus Bennett indefinitely for making too many goddamn appearances on NFL AM. We get it. You're sort of funny. So am I, but I never get invited on the show. Ever. Now, let's go to Cleveland, where I refuse to talk about preseason QB depth chart positions. In fact, I promise to not say the words Johnny Manziel until he plays in a regular season game. Sorry, Cleveland, but until then, he's still just a douche with a lot of money who fucks a ton of hot chicks. He's everything I hate and everything I want to be. But here at That's Good Football, we have a code. And that code is don't talk about players until they've actually played some fucking professional football. Also, I really like Brian Hoyer. America's favorite ginger Christian quarterback, Andy Dalton, signed a 6-year, $115 million contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. Besides Jesus, the only person on the planet who thought this was a good idea was Joe Flacco. You hear that, Cincinnati? Go ask Ozzie Newsome if he'd re-sign Flacco to a $120 million deal. Again, I apologize to Cleveland by mentioning Ozzie Newsome. Yet another reminder of one of your star players who ultimately helped another team win 2 Super Bowls. Dan Snyder continues to live in the delusional world billionaires typically live in. In a recent interview with ESPN, Snyder discussed the controversy surrounding the name of his team, the Washington Redskins. He was quoted saying, "A Redskin is a football player, and we say, 'Hail to the Redskins,' which is really weird when you think about where the term Redskin comes from. It originated from the scalping policies of the 19th century, when white dudes were paid for Indian scalps, or Redskins. Now look, I get it. The term's meaning has changed over time. I can think of another word that was once only the name of a color, and now has a totally inappropriate and derogatory meaning. Yellow.
What's wrong, dude? You yellow!
Some people are offended by the word yellow,
Nobody calls me yellow.
and we need to respect that. This documentary on time travel shows that the word is just as offensive in the future as it is in the past. It doesn't matter whether the context of the word has changed. Offensive's offensive. Now, if I were Dan Snyder, I'd be like, oops, my bad. I thought the word meant something else. I thought it was just a reference to the color of Native American skin. which is totally fine. I had no idea it was a reference to white bounty hunters scalping them. So, I'll change the name. Let's go ahead and call my team something more relevant and symbolic of the Washington, D.C. area. Like the D.C. Conquerors. Nope, that's still offensive. We could be called the D.C. Pawns. No, that's too on the nose. How about something stronger and more progressive? Like the Washington Ruth Bader Ginsburgs. Yeah, the Washington Ruth Bader Ginsburgs. But knowing Daniel Snyder, he'd probably fuck it up, get a new name, pay too much money for it, and walk away being called the Washington Scalias. His long-lost twin brother. Thanks for watching another episode thanks for watching the first episode of That's Good Football. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, That's Good Sports, and to share this video with every one of your internet friends. It's so easy to share things on the internet. It's not like real life, where sharing actually sucks. Like, internet sharing is a good thing. Real life sharing is an inconvenience. Internet sharing is only an inconvenience to the people that you have shared with. It's the best football news on earth.